Okay. It is 1:41 and I'm calling the meeting of the CRC to order. I've established that we have a quorum. As a preliminary matter, I'm going to confirm member access. As a preliminary matter, Dorothy, Chair of the CRC, permit me to confirm that all members are present and anticipate on the agenda are present can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Linda?
I'm here, Linda.
Joanna?
Here,
I think you have to say your name, Joanna.
Mm-mm.
So-
Joanna, here.
You call it, and we just say.
Okay, Bert,
Bert Johnson.
Veronica here, Dorothy here. Staff, when I call your name, please, respond affirmative. Jericho.
Jericho Mealy in attendance.
There will be no anticipated speakers on the agenda today, so moving forward, good afternoon. This is the open meeting of the Contract Review Committee. This is being conducted hybrid, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of July 2022, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspend the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in publicly accessible physical locations. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed and can encourage participate remotely. The order, which can be found posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allow public bodies to meet entirely remotely as long as responsible public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the deliberation of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Contract Review Committee is convened by Zoom and is posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Please note this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured in the recording. All supporting materials that have provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda and notes otherwise. We are now going to turn to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate minutes. I will introduce each speaker of the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down and the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called further. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair. I'm going to actually say today that I'm expecting us to have an open discussion. Okay, that I don't think every single time we have to go through the chair. I think it's going to be important to have an open discussion.
You're allowed to under Robert's rules, so.
Yeah. And there is nothing to do with public comment. Finally, each vote taken on this meeting will be conducted by roll call. I would like to get an approval of the agenda with one. I would like to add something to the agenda, and I just want to make a comment and let everybody know something about a letter that was in the Nantucket Current this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna bring
Okay.
that up myself.
Okay, so if we could, if I can get an approval of the agenda with me stating that I would like to discuss something else that was on the Nantucket Current.
That you did not anticipate.
I did
48
not
hours
anticipate
ago.
before.
That has
first
to
thing
be
this
in the
morning.
record. That has to be on the minutes.
Okay,
Don't, Madam Chairman.
okay, Bert,
So moved.
okay, Bert,
Second,
Aye.
okay, Joanna,
aye.
Veronica, aye, Linda.
Aye.
Okay, today there was a letter on the Nantucket Current, if anybody didn't have a chance to read it,
I read it.
addressed by a previous member of Fairwinds, an active member of Gosnell, and a parent at the school. After reading that, it upset me in two. I believe in ASAP. I read that report. I think we have been actively involved in trying to give funds towards these entities. And I think it's important, and I want to identify the fact that we have given to Fairwinds $1.3 million over the last decade in mental health care.
It's not just that, though.
No, wait a minute.
All the money before that, when it was the counseling center.
Right, but just in the last decade, we've given over 1.3 million. We've given money to Gosnold, we've given money to Fairwinds also. Besides, that was just for their mental health, besides for substance abuse reduction. And I sort of want to make it clear that the town is putting an invested interest financially into this. And I don't think that letter clearly stated that there have been funds available. And that there's money, even to Gosnold, where we have,
And we had
and I have been
questions.
an advocate of Gosnold. And I'm disappointed in what I've seen in the last year. So to be honest with you, I'm going to write a letter of response, and I wanted everybody to know that. My letter of response will go to Jericho, to Libby, and then to the Nantucket Current.
We should make a vote to do that. though.
Wait, yeah, well, that's why I'm putting it out there. So if anybody disagrees with it, and Joanne, I saw your hand up, so I will take your,
I 100% agree with you. I also read the letter and was somewhat offended. And thought that, wow, this does a disservice to all of the work that this group has done for years. Right. And also as a mother of 2 children in Nantucket High School, the other, not every single person who has an issue with vaping or with underage drinking comes from a family that has the means and the ability to address it. And I
Yeah.
think that was also, really overlooked. Like there are people who have food insecurity and housing insecurity, and their daily effort is to survive. Right. And to talk about, trauma and addiction in quite that way, I just think left all those people out. Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. It was a very offensive letter, and after I debated it, and then I went to my computer and I started pulling up numbers and things, because I debated the fact that I've been a very strong advocate to support this and have within this board, and I feel this board has been a strong advocate, and I believe the town, in its own right, has advocated through us money to support this, and I think it's important that maybe, they look at, and no offense, but I'm not gonna say how much Gosnold's gotten in the last just 2 years to make a difference. And I would like to see people step up to the bat that are getting the money, think before you write. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
Well, it's ignorance. They don't bother to ask the question in the first place. They just go out of the rear, basically, to be blunt. And they don't bother to go find out. They don't ask any questions, and you don't write letters like that you clearly are ignorant of the facts.
Right.
That's
So-
the American way.
Huh? What, Bert?
I said, that's the American way now.
That's
don't
the
have- Facts don't make any difference. Doing research is nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with everybody's, with the consensus of the group, what I would like to do is write a letter. As I said, anytime I write a letter to the public, it goes to Jericho and Libby for approval. Once it hits Jericho, I send it to Libby, so that it never goes out without the town. Libby always writes back and lets me know what she thinks. If she feels that I need to edit, she will edit it. If not, and there are times when Libby has felt that she can say to me, if this is really how strongly you believe, put it out like that. But just so you know, it will go through proper protocol before it gets sent out, so that at no point in time, there's nobody in the town that knows how are coming from our board. And we will send it to you, everybody here, when I send it to Jericho, so that everybody has an opportunity and sees it when it goes out.
Dorothy, can I
I'll
ask,
make that you do that.
Okay, hold on, Joanna.
could you, would you, I don't know if anybody else agrees with this, but I would be happy to sign the letter with all of you.
I don't mind signing it either. If it
Okay,
goes
so
in
then
for
I
a
think we
board
should
vote,
send it
yeah.
out. I'll write it and we'll have it sent, as long as you approve it, we'll send it out with everybody's name on it.
Fine.
We can't approve it by email.
Well, we're gonna meet Monday.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
And I think go, no go can be done as long as it's individual replies. So I think you can say yes or no on a particular question.
That's
But I'll
correct.
send
It's
it,
just-
I'm gonna
yeah.
send it because in all honesty, by Monday, you'll all have it, and you'll have, if you have to edit, which I really appreciate editing. That will happen before, and then it will be sent to Jericho and Libby after approval by us.
Okay.
So if I can get a motion, whether you agree with that or not.
I'll
would
make
be-
that motion.
Okay,
Second.
Linda's made, okay, Veronica has seconded, so Linda,
All right.
Veronica,
I,
Joanna,
Aye.
Bert,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
thank you, sir.
You can send it out through Jericho ahead of
Jericho,
time, so we
yes.
know what we're doing. on
No, I'm
it.
gonna send it so that it's edited for Monday, so that you guys can come back if there's something you feel has to be come out of it. Okay, and I just want to also say that just so everybody, Joanna, you didn't know this when you left, but because Veronica had never seen, health imperatives, I brought her up there yesterday, and it was extremely, I had to leave for another commitment at 1 o'clock, and I'm sad I did. Because we were blessed with the fact that we had the head of medical records. We had the CFO, we had somebody from Washington DC here. We had the regional director. Nancy Lucchini was there, the nurses were there, and she
Yeah.
actually got to see clients.
yeah,
So I think I'm gonna let Veronica talk about how her experience went, but in all honesty, I wish that I had not had my commitment at 1 o'clock. I would have
No.
loved to have stayed.
it was very interesting because the individual that was there from Washington DC. From one of the reproductive health supportive organizations, he was there to do a security audit on the facility. Now that the funding has come through, that was also, I guess, was it announced yesterday?
It
or
was announced yesterday,
this
but
week?
it was announced yesterday, but that doesn't have to do with the pill. It had to do with whether they'd be able to
Right.
provide full abortions.
Exactly.
What do you
Okay,
mean,
just
after
so-
that, I mean,
Besides medically induced, whether
Right.
or not they'd be able to do full abortions.
do we don't know the answer to that.
We do know the answer. Yeah, we
Will
found the
they?
answer yesterday, yeah.
Can they do it?
Well, let us
Well,
discuss it.
You know, it was interesting because, you know, it was my first time going to the facility and it's just astounding what they do in the space that they
In the
have.
closet?
And the shared space that they have. I was astounded at the lack of privacy for the clients.
Not because of them.
Not because of them, but just the facility just doesn't allow. But it was interesting, this individual that came up from Washington, you know, basically the facility can be secured. And yes, we know that we live in, I believe, a relatively liberal community, but there are individuals all over that this is a very passionate subject. You know, and I know that we're not going to solve their issue right here, but it's definitely probably pushes their need to have a better facility up to top of their priorities.
Well, the top of the community's priorities,
Priorities,
because
yes.
the reality is that they see 865 clients in this last year. The hospital could not in any, I'm gonna let Jericho talk in a
No.
minute, could not in any way handle that clientele if they came into their door. They just
Right.
couldn't. And that's part of the reason that they haven't having to worry about a lease, because in reality, the hospital cannot take on what they
Right.
do. They
Right.
have the highest number of LBGQT that are there. They're servicing 42 individuals, I believe, that are in that category. And so, you know, for what they provide, the hospital couldn't afford to
Right.
take on what they're offering.
Right.
But as far as space, you know, people have to go through the AA, the accessibility of AA to maybe the upper level of the
There's
building.
no privacy for either one of those.
No, and even we were
And-
there,
and
there
I'll-
were 2 clients, and it was really, if the clients hadn't known that we were, they
Right.
thought we were a part of the organization that was
Organization.
there,
Yeah.
it probably would have been intimidating that we had been there.
But the fact that their treatment rooms are on the second floor, it also astounds me because, you know, it's not ADA compliant, which I guess they
They're
can
grandfathered.
skirt that in some ways, but you still have individuals that may not be able to make those stairs. So
It's horrible.
yeah.
Well, it's
They
not
need to-
horrible. No, it's
It's that they
amazing what
do
they
it
do at
right.
that facility. So
But they
it's
need
not
to-
horrible. But they, no, what, not that they can, it would be great to see something happen for them. So Jericho, on that note.
Yeah.
I know, on this particular topic for health imperatives and the location, both when we were working on, COVID vaccine clinics last couple of years and discussions with, health imperative staff for the last 2 weeks, one of the major physical bottlenecks in the amount of service they can produce is the space they have available and the number of people they can get in and out of it. So a different location would allow them to provide more services, even without increasing staffing, et cetera, et cetera.
So I just thought it was very,
Yeah,
as always, they blow my mind on what they do inside that building. So.
Yeah.
and they are doing more vaccinations
Yeah.
also coming up, so.
So
Amazing.
anyway, with that being said, I just thought everybody should know that it was disappointing for them, but they had a feeling that that's what was gonna happen, and they showed us the reasons why, and we got a good idea. And it
Yeah.
was very interesting, because he was a very interesting gentleman, and it would have been really wonderful to have
To
spent
spend
time,
some time, yeah.
yeah, to get to know and get to see what they really needed on our end, but they're gonna let us know what the actual report is. But I just thought we'd mention that. So in front of everybody, you have a agency request form with the monies. We have $840,514 being requested. We are gonna say that, and I know that we've mentioned this before, to reiterate this. As we go through this, I would like everybody to keep in mind that we have asked Addiction Solutions to go to the cannabis grant. Because I think it fits more into the cannabis grant.
Okay.
Than into this, but. Until the cannabis grant is out, we must, I think, not eliminate them from this until they're able to apply for the cannabis grant. Do you understand? Everybody understand that, in this process? Jericho?
So that we would render a recommendation at the end of this and then revise it before we present it to the select. group.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Okay, because I think what's gonna be important is we are gonna only get to a recommendation until the cannabis grant comes out.
Is that in
Because
the
there
paper
could
today?
be.
Is that in the paper yesterday? I
Nope.
didn't think you'd make it yesterday.
It didn't make it.
So it's next week and the following week.
Yep.
What's the
And I've
deadline?
already got people lined up for direct communication the second it goes out. When the advertisement goes out, the applications will go out to the 3 people that we've already.
What's the deadline for applications?
It'll be,
2
it has to
weeks
be
from
at
when it-
least 14 days from when the first advertisement goes in.
All right, it has to be in the advertisement.
Yes.
Okay.
So just so everybody knows, we have personally, our organization or the contract review committee made it known to Addiction Solutions, to Health Imperatives, and to Fair Winds that these monies would be available because Health Imperatives is doing a harm reduction program through their facility. So just so everybody knows, so far, those 3 candidates have been notified that the cannabis grant will be coming out. That does not mean that they're the only 3 people. There hopefully will be a lot more that. Well, maybe not a lot more, but hopefully it'll get out there and people will understand it's out there. So with that being said, we're gonna start our deliberations. Veronica spent some time, and I think everybody got this evaluation chart that she did for us.
I don't know where it went.
I've got copies. I need
And then
copies
you sent
today.
me a fresh copy, so I will send it out to everyone.
A good one that's
Yeah.
different than this one.
Yeah, I made, just before coming, I made copies, so.
Is this the same thing that I have here?
Probably not. But yeah, that was revised. And actually, I want to just state, this
You have
was
a copy?
Tara Ristieri and myself collaborating on this. And
And I'm not sure sorry, Joanna, I'm not sure if you, Bert, and
Is there a third
John
page to
got
this?
it.
Yeah,
and
there's
if
3
not,
pages.
do you have a Jericho and can it be sent out? If not,
Um,
Because I'll
I
put
had
it in
just
here and save it.
emailed, I
if you
just
wanna send it
emailed them
again.
earlier, so you should have a,
John
or
Black.
wouldn't we do one for each person?
yes. Yeah,
So
this
maybe-
is just one copy
Okay,
that I.
so we
bought
might
today.
have to, get more copies, but if everybody, Jarek was gonna send this out to you.
So I'm sending one to Joanna, to John, and to Bertel. It's out right now. There's the evaluation form. There are 2 attachments. You can just be able to double click and open them on your computer.
And you sent it to me?
No, I did not.
You sent it to my email address too.
She did send it to you already. She sent it
So
to
you
both
sent
of
it early
us.
tomorrow. Oh, well, I
I
was
was
up
probably
at,
about 12:30. I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
exactly.
were eating lunch.
I was
Yeah.
eating lunch.
So you have the
Axe
most
Arena?
recent.
Yeah, Axe
because
Arena
the one
one.
you have there was our
On its way.
first run through. And
Actually, I
after,
can't get into it. Send it to
working-
my other one. For some reason, all this stuff isn't showing up here. I can get
Has
into my
everyone, have you
Comcast,
looked at it?
you know, the Zarina Linda at Comcast on that.
At Comcast.net.
I think Veronica should see how we actually do it.
No. Well, that's still part of this.
No, I know, just, I was
Without a
just
doubt.
teasing. Yeah, I'm just. teasing.
Yeah, we do it by feats of strength on Nantucket. We have people arm
Do you arm
wrestling.
wrestle?
There was a ladder.
Is it, you know, like.
Salmon ladder.
Push-ups.
Yeah. We like to mix it up so it's fair.
Okay, good.
Right.
But that's perfectly fine, but have you emailed it out to?
Yes, it
Okay.
should be
Can
out.
everybody let us know when they can open it up and they get it, please?
And then I'm gonna see,
Okay, Joanna's got it. Bert, do you have it?
I haven't.
Linda's got it.
I can also share it on the screen if
I-
you guys think it would be helpful.
Yeah, but see if Bert gets it in front of him.
I have it on my phone, yeah.
You have two
Okay,
attachments?
Yeah, there's
John,
the attachments.
sorry, we're gonna give John a minute here because I think he's at PT answering us, which is amazing.
Oh, my.
No, it should be out like in right now.
John, hey, were you able to get that?
I'm working on my phone and I probably can't. I'll have to, it'll take me about half an hour to get back to where I can really do this properly, but I'm on it.
Okay, that's okay. We're gonna go on with discussion and I know that you can understand.
Because
this.
I'm gonna have to shift off on my own, onto my computer, because doing on the phone just isn't working very well. But
Okay,
I'll be back shortly.
sounds great.
Okay, so I will. Not supposed to eat those. I know. So I'll just go through a brief explanation of what you'll have in front of you. The idea of a rubric is to make something that is subjective a little bit more objective. And certainly review of this, we all have our personal feelings. We also have some hard numbers and information that was given by the applicants, I should say. So this first sheet that has lots of words on it, we went through the grant application, and I think there's 2, 4, 6, 8, or 9 different categories that are common to the process. And the first one just says, was the application complete? Now, that may sound kind of silly because by this point, if it wasn't complete, we did ask for that information. And for the most part, we did get every answer that we wanted to get. So, but in some cases, when you get a process like this, you may have someone who's just not providing information that's required. So they would score low in that area. And it goes all the way down here by the specific goals and plans. The second part, actually, I jumped over that, is it in alignment with Nantucket's community needs statement, which that is an extremely important one because we may have some discussion on that with this process. Does it meet the needs of what we should be doing, representing human services in the community? And then it goes down to the specific goals, then all the way down as you look at this to, the budget sustainability plans, et cetera. And it's broken into 5 different categories. The one being, number 1 is the least, number 5 is the greatest. So that is your sort of cheat sheet, so you have some background of what you're looking to score. The other sheets, the cover one here just basically is information we have. And then you have on the bottom, it's just pros and cons of, and it's a way that you personally can organize your thoughts in going for, you know, what is the pro of this? What is the con of the application? And then this is just the ranking sheet. So you take your 5 different areas, and for each particular one, you will rank it either 1 to 5.
I'm sharing the actual documents, so
Oh,
this is still
sorry.
going out.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Sorry.
Right. So obviously, at the end, we will score each one, and the higher the score, the more powerful the application is, the lower the score, the weaker the application is. If we all did this individually, our numbers will probably come a little bit different, or we could all match if we all are in.
I think I'd like to see
Sure.
all this first year do it individually and see
Yep.
how we come across.
Right.
But what I think I'd like to do is with this, would you be? I would like to see us have the discussion and then come back with our evaluation on
Mhm.
Monday.
Yes. Yes.
Of each one.
Mhm.
You,
Sounds
just a
wonderful.
question.
Mhm.
We've done this before, right at the top. We've gone down the list just quickly, in or out, and then we decide what we're doing.
Yeah, what we're gonna do right now is, we're gonna have a normal discussion,
Mhm.
everybody, on what we would normally do. And then what we're gonna do is debate it and come back with our evaluations on Monday and put it out there like that, and let's see how it goes.
Okay,
Okay, everybody?
so who's in, who's out?
Well, let's go through it from the very beginning.
Okay,
And I'm just gonna right off the bat, Joanna, you were not here for it. I do not believe Habitat for Humanity fits underneath this
I was
jurisdiction.
gonna ask you that.
Oh, no, I was here for that, and I agree.
Okay, so I would actually like to take Habitat for Humanity off of this right now and make a recommendation that they maybe go to another island source in the written letter. to them.
They can't
Okay.
come to CPC, but they can certainly go to, because our funding search is closed. The ones that can do that right off the bat is the Housing Trust can give it to them next week if they vote.
Okay, so the recommendation from Linda is that make another recommendation that they go to the Housing Trust.
Portable
to-
Housing Trust Fund.
Affordable Housing Trust for this application.
Yeah.
Okay.
That we believe that that's better where it stands. And does everybody, can I get a consensus on whether we agree with that?
I can make a motion to do
Make
that.
a motion.
Linda?
I make a motion to or eliminate it from, if it doesn't fit the scope, but suggest that they go to the Nantucket Housing Trust.
Okay, do I get a second?
I'll second that.
And then Nantucket Affordable Housing Trust.
Affordable Housing.
Yes,
Trust, okay.
Nantucket Affordable Housing Trust.
Okay.
NAHT, that's what it is.
Okay, we have we have Linda,
Aye.
Veronica,
I,
Bert,
Aye.
Joanna.
Aye.
Okay. Fabulous. That takes it out of that takes that one completely out. Jericho, did you have a question?
I just want to get the motion right for the minutes,
Do you want me to repeat it?
the recommendation to approach the Affordable Housing Trust for funding for this project.
No.
Yeah.
No, to make a recommendation to Habitat for Humanity to go to the Nantucket Affordable Housing Trust
As it does not fit the scope,
of our criteria.
it does not fit the scope, the criteria for a grant from the CRC.
question,
Mhm.
would we want to say and other organizations on that, or just,
Or any other appropriate entity.
right?
Okay,
I can
just for dotting our i's and crossing our t's. The recommendation is for Habitat for Humanity to approach the Nantucket Affordable Housing Trust or other island funding entities for support on this project.
Yes,
as
as
it
it does,
doesn't fit under
does
the
not
scope
fit
of the contract review committee.
under the criteria for a grant from the CRC.
Right? Sorry. Okay, so we've gotten that done.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the other addiction solutions, I'm gonna keep them in until we have the
Cannabis grant?
cannabis grant. So if we go over on our first recommendations, okay, guys, it's okay. As we're gonna, we don't wanna push anybody out until we get our final recommendations.
Here's the other thing,
Yes.
with Fair Winds and health imperatives,
Mhm.
not all of what they're asking for help with fits under that particular thing. We should probably pull out that figure so we know what that figure is for sure. That would qualify for the cannabis, so we know what's left that they need help with that's not involved in that particular thing.
Well, according to Fair Winds, even though they had it written in the thing, Chris told us that it did not. Even though it says the peer recovery program, it does not include the peer recovery program, what they're asking for. What you did miss, Joanna, which was, I am glad sometimes I can be a pain in the ass, but my request to them to pursue Medicare and get the Medicare in has brought up their revenue 60%
Wow,
in
that's awesome.
reimbursements. So it was a
From
huge,
zero,
From
from
zero.
5 years ago.
yeah. So it was big. So us, that being a constant question on our end and harassing as to why it didn't, actually, they told us had been very beneficial to them.
So I have one other comment just about this form, because I think last year on this
Mhm.
same form, we had a column that showed us what we gave them last year. And that's really helpful.
I can share that right now.
Actually, Jericho can share it. We talked about it today. I
Yeah,
thought
'cause
I
it's
thought we
usually
got
on
it
this
sent in an
sheet.
I
email.
couldn't find that unfortunately.
I have it, actually.
I have it and I have the long one, but I thought it went out today earlier in the email, so I apologize.
You have it?
Oh, yeah, I'll send it around.
I just
And
like it for
then-
reference.
No, it's very important for reference,
Yep.
right? Yeah, I've got a copy of it. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Was that one? Okay, I have one up. I just have to send it out.
When did you need this?
Oh, I like
Previous
it when
year's
it was
one.
on this.
Well, that is
It
it.
is, but
Just
just
ours. It just doesn't have NAMI's number on it.
Yeah, no, I liked it because last year we had previous grant and then the column that
Correct.
says how much. It was
That's
all
right.
on
But
one
here,
sheet of
here,
paper.
it's here though.
I know, but I hate the colors
Okay, but it's there.
What's
Live
also,
with it, Linda. live
I
with
hate
it.
the
It's
color.
better than nothing.
because I can't read the green. It's too damn dark.
but what's good about this, I also appreciated seeing what was requested and what ultimately was funded.
Mhm.
Yeah,
um,
and I
over a
always
period
do
of
it, but
time.
I like it lighter colored.
Well, just so everybody, so it's gonna be sent out to you. Sorry, Joanna, I thought it had gone out.
Because then when I print that's too dark.
Mm.
I can't read it.
I also have this one, which I think it would be interesting, which is the one that I was discussing earlier, which I'll send it out to Jericho again. It's difficult because some of these came from Ann to me and they didn't go to Jericho.
Mhm.
And so I have to resend them to Jericho now that
Was
that
it
Ann's
Marina
gonna be out.
Linda?
But this is the one that
Yeah,
goes
Zarina
over the
Linda
last,
at
like,
Comcast
over
on
the,
it, yeah.
like,
'Cause I can't get
over the
into
last
any
like
of my
15
other
years
stuff
of
right now.
funding that
I
we've
can get
given.
into that, go figure.
I'm not sure if you didn't get it last year. It doesn't include after 2022.
I
but
have 23
it's-
in here.
No, I know, I have them all, but I just think that it's a great resource too.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Okay, so did you get that to Joanna?
Yeah, I'm sending it out to,
Joanna,
is the
Bert, and
year-
John are gonna get it.
this is the year over year fund.
This is it's called Contract Review Committee Requests and Funding.
Pretty chart colors.
It came from, came to me, I can resend it right now from here.
Oh, I got it. I sent out that graph there.
Yeah.
Exactly, thank you. It does not have NAMI on it. Because NAMI went onto this one, but is not on this one, so you'll have to add the NAMI onto this one.
Their last
And
year.
NAMI's
they're
request is
120,
150,000.
And their award last year was 120.
They're on here, so NAMI is here for their award. Their award last year was $101,823.
21. And that is just the CRC funding. They did not get any of the cannabis funding.
Yeah, that was just
No.
seriously.
No,
They didn't do anything for anybody else. Okay, I'd like to sort of, so we've taken Habitat off of this. Addiction Solutions, of course, I believe should go into, because its administration should go into the cannabis grant. And I think we should start talking about everybody working our way down from the very top, starting with number one on the thing, not going from lowest, let's just. I mean, we can say that we can start with South Coast Legal Services. I don't think there's ever a question on whether or not they should remain. And whether or not their funding is inappropriate. I think it's perfectly in line.
Oh, we're not starting at the top of this?
No, I just said we might as well go to the ones that we know that
Oh, the little guys?
the little guy that well, not necessarily all little guys are great, but South Coast Legal Services, we can say right off the bat.
Yep.
I don't believe there's any issue with anybody in the board about that. Am I correct?
No,
For South Coast Legal,
And does anybody have any questions or concerns over South Coast Legal? Okay, could I get a recommendation for us keeping or making a tentative recommendation that South Coast Legal Services? And these are all tentative recommendations, guys.
okay, I'll make that.
Okay.
I recommend that South Coast Legal Services gets a portion of contract review committee funds for $4,600 for 24.
I'll make it
That's
simple.
cool.
They stay in at the request.
We're having
That's
45,
fine. All right. What, Bert?
can't be 46 because they only asked for 45.
No,
No,
they asked for 4,600.
Yeah, that happened last year too.
My sheet here that Jericho sent out says 45.
That was last year.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see it in the green now. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
So you
Did
can't
they
see
not
those
get this one?
colors.
Jericho, did they not?
they
get
sent that one out too. I think he's just looking, were you
Oh,
just
you're
looking at the
looking at
one
the
I
big graph,
just sent?
okay.
Yeah, because he's looking off his phone.
Okay, so it's $4,600. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Okay, Linda has seconded. Veronica,
I,
Linda,
aye.
Joanna,
I,
Bert,
Aye.
Oh,
John?
that came weird.
I,
okay, this
That
is
did not,
this is
Rotate
tentative.
one of the drop downs.
it actually squished off
um,
Joanna?
on this.
guys, I have to go do school pickup. I'll be back in 15 minutes.
Okay, we won't go on over anything serious.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
hello,
Just-
Hi, John.
Copy and paste it.
I'm about to go out of probably Wi-Fi range and I'll be back in about, in 15 minutes or 10 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna take a water break while you guys both do your thing.
Right, right, thank you.
You're welcome. Bert, we're gonna take a 15-minute water break,
Good.
okay?
What's
I'll go-
happening?
Water.
But John has to leave.
I
to
know
go for
John Boy's
PT.
going from A to
Joanna
B.
has to go pick up her son, which puts us into, we're in a quorum, but I don't think this discussion should go on without everybody here. Does everybody agree? Yeah.
Was there another person on this committee that's not shown up?
No.
live?
No,
She was here that first
no,
time.
but she is not a year-round resident. So she has helped with this form that Veronica's done. She's put a lot of time into
Who is
working on
that
that.
woman?
Tara Restier, she's on the Council of Human Services.
And she doesn't
She's-
live
she's
here.
a- She's a homeowner, but she's seasonal and she does not vote on Nantucket, so.
She can't make any recommendations with money.
No.
Yeah.
And so she has worked with Veronica at great lengths on this, which we deeply appreciate.
And just, we did have a Council of Human Services meeting last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago at this point. And, in preparation for that meeting, thinking that we were gonna maybe try to appoint
This is a pain in
someone
the ass,
else.
Garrison. We don't have a word
Um,
document of this.
In my
No.
discussion with
Literally
Atlee
took a
and
picture.
Jericho,
No,
I
that's the problem.
recommended that to pull someone new into the
You
process
needed to take it straight
at
down
this
and not
point
angled.
would have been probably
There's a
more
hard copy right there.
difficult for someone who's not
Yeah,
been
but
in
isn't
the
that belong to somebody?
presentation or whatever,
No, that's an extra.
that
Oh, I'll
we
take it.
would belong at this year.
Um,
Next time.
Could you slide the extra one of those year over year ones to Linda?
The color.
Actually, one of these ones?
Yeah.
I offered you before.
Thanks.
You sent it back to me.
I thought it was,
No, you sent it back to me.
well, because the emailed one is weird.
Just a
Does it,
picture.
Jericho, do you need a water? I brought water.
Oh, I'm good. I needed the sugar and the caffeine from
Linda, do
My,
you need a Coke with one of those macaroons?
They
the,
are outrageous.
the official beverage of the CRC, Coca-Cola.
Jericho,
I get a kickback.
Oh, Krispy Kremes. Come on,
Yeah.
kill it.
this is for you, buddy.
That's unfair. That is
I still have
definitely
the rest
unfair.
of that chocolate in.
I thought you were giving to your son, not the car.
I haven't gotten it out.
Yeah, we know now.
Plus it's been. Get out. Save.
Thing when they have a lot of heavy discussions.
I don't wanna go for 4 hours again. I've got-
We have an unfortunate.
We
hard
have 2
stop.
hours,
Yeah.
we have to stop. And I have a lot of stuff I have to do today.
And then just to reiterate, next Friday's meeting will be remote only. This room is not, the only option I can get is. If assuming we need it, I know we reserved that one just for safe.
So right now, we're Monday at 1:30 and
Monday at
we'll
1:30.
have Friday back
Friday.
together then.
Monday-
Monday is hybrid,
Yeah, Monday should be hybrid.
and then Friday, 27th.
And I'm just looking at the calendar, we won't have the opportunity to review the cannabis applications until probably the third week in February.
Most likely. What I plan on doing is as soon as I get them in, I will send them out to you. Last year, we had 3 in total and only 2 went forward.
Right,
This year, I expect us to have, I would realistically 5 at the most.
5.
I would say like.
I
the
know
only-
3.
So I would say potentially health imperatives, potentially,
Fairwinds.
Fairwinds almost certainly, potentially Gosnolds and potentially,
Addiction Solutions.
Addiction Solutions. And then NAMI did actually express an interest in this.
Well, I
too.
asked about that, whether we should really ask them because of ASAP.
Well, so ASAP's folded into NAMI and.
I
if-
know, but that
if-
whole component's still there, but
if-
under NAMI, because I was trained in NAMI.
If they request, I mean, like, I've definitely made Jackie aware of it, and if she requests money for it, like, I'm gonna send her an application for it. If they've got a program for it, then yeah,
What is that?
absolutely under, NAMI for
NAMI
the
ASAP.
cannabis grant. I did, Jackie did mention, like, I did tell her that the cannabis grant was coming up if she had substance abuse related
This,
stuff.
this letter today was from this woman works with ASAP too?
No, we were just,
No, I'm just saying that the woman's letter this morning, she's affiliated with ASAP.
who, so which,
I don't even know who this woman, I know the name, I just don't know who that is.
we are in session now, so.
That's okay, we don't mind being in session.
Look, I'm having a
Something like
conversation with
letter.
myself.
Yes, you're allowed to pull up the letter.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to.
See,
You're
and
allowed
it
to
was,
pull up
doesn't
your,
seem like.
Covers have to say it.
Yeah,
If I
cause
could
like,
find
so
it.
it's not
Okay.
seeing the computer, it's only seeing the screen up there. And it sees, it thinks there's a person in the room talking, cause when I show up on that screen. And when I show up on the other screen, it looks like the algorithm is tripping on human-like, but not human.
Linda, that's only CRC stuff in front of you, right?
I'm just hanging out, we got 15 minutes, so I don't miss
Jericho,
anything
there
else he
was something
sends.
I wanted to ask you. I'm in a conversation yesterday, and I know this is on, and I don't mind that it's on, because I'd like to know. And we talked a little bit yesterday with health imperatives over the maybe future of the local facility, if that community facility becomes available. Would it deter it, and I would like to sort of know where it would stand if they did provide abortions, whether the town would then be able to house, whether they'd be able to be in that multiple building?
It's surgical
It's a good
procedure.
question, right?
It is. I don't believe there are any explicit restrictions on town funds being allocated for those purposes
Not town fund, I'm not worried about.
or town
funds,
location.
Town location.
I cannot, I do not.
Can we do some research to find out about that?
Yeah.
Face is that?
Thank you.
Well, so there's a proposed community building. There's been a couple of proposed community centers, more or less.
I was on the first one,
Yeah, well, that's what we're
Oh,
talking.
right, but this is
but
different.
it's not going over
the
there.
first
Where
one.
are they proposing this one?
this is
Island
being,
Home.
yeah, like, so I think, and this was,
That's a
This is-
long way away.
No, but this has been in discussion for 10 years.
oh, yeah, no.
And I
and-
suggested that they move us, because I'm on council on aging. Move Salt Marsh out of there into there.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Move that out to where I am, because I'm on the plaque out at Sherburne Commons.
well, no, I'm pretty sure that,
And that, there's got rooms, they've got the congregate.
well, they got to build it.
They got a whole
They
thing,
got it,
but
they-
now I'm being told that nobody wants that building, even at the Salt Marsh, because it's a crappy building, and I said, wait a minute. We
You
have
mean
a
the
big
Salt Marsh
dining,
building?
yeah. No, they don't want to go
Oh, to
to
move the
that,
Salt Marsh.
they want to go there, but they don't want that building. I'm going,
Yeah, but there's a lot of community social services that would
Of
be,
course there are.
would love to
So
be inside that building.
I think so are we talking about the building in which our island home is housed?
yes.
So then the
The
idea
idea
was,
was to take us out of Salt Marsh, sell that property, so it goes into renovations at that one.
well, the building is owned by a
I
separate
know,
organization, not the
NCAA,
town, yeah.
yeah, we're represented on there. And get rid of that, go into the island home, which already has that big, beautiful dining room, and we already have a commercial kitchen, which isn't that old. And then we have all these rooms where what can go in one, social security can go in one, everybody can come back over here because there's no space.
Well, it's big
and
enough to house.
everything.
Big enough to house like a
It's big enough
safe
to house
place and a bunch of
everything in
things.
there. So it's
That
like,
is, as far as I know.
but
still
everybody hates the
planned.
building,
Yeah, I think there's only one group that hates the building because nobody else.
Yeah,
got
everybody-
Hates the building.
Everybody else wants this, like, it was, that move was, and the last time I spoke about this. Was to Rachel Day while she was still with the town, so
yeah. I've
I
been
haven't
talking
been
to Rachel
updated in a
about it for
minute,
years.
but
And
as,
Dawn
as,
and Jason.
as last I left it, with her, the most current information I have on that is still the plan. Once the new facility is constructed for our island home. That was approved at town meeting this year, so it actually might go forward, but inside of 5 years,
It's
probably
been
not.
5 years.
Inside, like, probably realistically longer than 5 years
Realistically, yeah,
before the community center is open.
because the problem with the Sherburne Commons, and I fought to have the Alzheimer's wing there. And I kept running into Joan Craig, who's the chairman of our group. But we don't want those old people here, and I'm going, bitch, I don't mind saying it.
Well, you can't say that on public.
I don't care.
You cannot say that. on
I've
public.
argued and argued and
Linda,
argued.
Listen to me.
Yep, fine, but you
Thank
know
you.
how I feel about it.
Okay,
And I
now we
fought
know
it and
you feel.
fought it and fought
Enough
it.
of
And I got the Alzheimer's wing, and then they got rid of it out there. And put, day surgery and all that stuff, respite care and all that stuff. So now it's coming back, fortunately, because it was already built for that with a remembrance garden right outside of it.
Mhm.
So now that's coming back, and the island home cannot be in the same building. It has to be a separate building by state and federal code. So the issue was that several years ago, we went to town meeting to try to purchase property that went from us to My Comet Road,
Mhm.
the Sylvia Howard's property.
Right.
That went to town meeting and got shot down by the
Right.
people who were adamant about keeping the island home over there.
There it is. Right.
So I'm not sure that that would be the case now, but that property is being sold and everything else, so and he's still living in it, so that's not available anymore. So now we had to find another place. There are different models. There are one-story wing models.
Right.
There are one
Yeah.
building model.
Right.
With multiple floors.
Right.
So they're gonna have to compress to get it on the property that we
That
already
is
have.
existing.
I'm the closest to butter.
Yeah.
So we've got to figure out where the hell to put it there. I assume that there's a place to put it,
Mhm.
but we've got to do something.
Mhm.
Because we're the last privately run, town run in the
Oh, I
state.
know.
They closed the New Bedford one, and now we are it.
Right.
And the state has been down and they're going to say, you
I thought
gotta
it was
close it
Taunton was the
completely.
last
Taunton,
one.
somewhere down in that
It
direction.
was Taunton.
Yeah,
Taunton
they're
was the one
gone.
that was the last one.
Yeah, they're
Right.
gone.
Right.
So the state knows all about us. At some point, they're gonna come down and say, this is unacceptable because you have two elderly people in a room for one person.
Right.
The call buttons don't always work. They don't have ability to see the patients.
Right.
Everything's around a corner
Right.
and
The
it's just
facility
crazy.
the facility is outdated and, doesn't amount of work to make it up to code, it just doesn't make sense.
Doesn't.
Well,
But we need
Heather-
to do something to keep them here. I've had
Right,
too many friends
exactly,
who've had to go off island
exactly.
and the
And
families
we've
here.
approved the override for their operation, which is absolutely necessary. That's been approved. So it's just now getting the facility built moved, et cetera, and then that opens that space
And we've
there.
approved design funds and study funds
I think
over
multiple
and
times,
over and over
multiple
again.
times.
Yeah.
And the price is just going up
Up.
because the building has to meet a certain code that the main building and the individual buildings, the assisted and the independent, don't have to meet at
Right.
all.
Right.
And I like the
That
one
I
story
opened up
model.
another conversation here, Jeff. How do you like how I do that?
We're heating up our 15-minute water.
You do a really good job of Getting those conversations in there.
No,
But it's just very frustrating.
It is. It is.
as far as I know, the general plan is to have the current building, potentially with some auxiliary buildings added onto it. The essentially a human services and community center.
Yeah,
building.
that's what we
Mhm.
want.
Right.
But you're
Right.
not adding any buildings onto it.
I mean, I don't,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not
not.
up to date on the plan, but that
I
was,
think it was just the building it is, and they're renovating that
Yeah,
building.
because if you were trying to build that, 'cause I'm on the Concom, if you were trying to build that building today, it's not happening.
yeah,
Right,
On top of
because
the fact
it's,
It's not high enough out of
Right.
the floodplain and it's inside the requisite from the creeks.
right,
So you'd never be able to build that building like that again.
right,
So if we're gonna use it for non-health
medical,
reasons, or medical reasons, and you're not living there, then you can get away with putting offices in there and just sprucing up the building, fixing it, and, you know, it's gotta be renovated
Mhm,
intensely.
mhm.
but it would be less costly to renovate that building than it would be to ensure that it will maintain the standard of care as a nursing home.
Oh, you
Oh,
can, you
yes.
can't even do that.
Yeah.
They've already figured that out. You cannot upgrade that building.
Yeah,
Right,
Which is
Heather,
too bad, because here's where I think the town faults itself. Is we do not have a maintenance program where we maintain buildings to keep them to code, and we really should be doing that.
Well, that building could never have been made to current code. Ever.
No, I'm saying, but
So
along
But
the
in
way.
general,
50 years old, 40 years
oh,
old?
no,
No, it's not.
No?
it's older than
Not
that.
that
isn't
old.
it?
it's older than that.
It's not older than that.
Yep.
The
It
island
used to
home-
be in the building in front of it.
Right, the old
Exactly.
island home
That's
is not 50
Yeah,
years old.
that structure, I thought that
It's
was.
not, that was built when my kids were young.
Was it? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't remember when it was built, so
Yeah.
I can't act like it's always been there for me.
No, it's maybe 30 years.
Because how old are you? 10?
Mentally,
Eternally
yes.
ten.
Physically, I'm about 15 years older than my chronological age. Thank
I've
you,
lived in
Ray.
my
That's
house
because
for 40
you drink too
years.
many of those things.
I do like that my bad habits have gotten progressively healthier as I've aged,
Oh,
so.
Good.
I don't know, we might have to call you on that, Jericho.
I would agree, Bert.
What, would you say that this lovely beverage produced by Coca-Cola of America in Atlanta, Georgia is not the best?
Are you giving a Zoom ad to them
I just-
again?
I think-
If you're gonna drink it.
But Could be drinking.
Anyways, at least it's.
Oh,
cane sugar.
I went, oh, you're going for, I don't think I think we might be jeopardizing our deal with Coca-Cola in the town if you do that. Bert. Please, for the record, we do not have a deal with Coca-Cola.
Mm-mm.
But no, it's
You know where the island home? the,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I
No,
know.
the landmark house, you know where that came from,
Yes.
don't you?
they,
Not on
they,
Hopeless Road. It was the Alms House. It
Hmm.
actually was moved in with the
Where'd
sign
you-
that said the Alms House.
Really?
No, the landmark
The
house
landmark house, yes.
was for the
It's-
indigent and,
Right.
Yes.
you know,
or-
Right.
They say
tax,
that
tax
the
people
people
problems.
that live in there tell you, say,
There's ghosts in,
yeah, total ghost number.
Yeah.
there it goes.
All over the island.
There was a woman brought there once
1980,
that had a drink.
1980, well, 1980, that's 40.
43 years,
Wait, that building's the
years.
same age as me?
No, it's 41 years ago.
43, 1980 is when they have it, but it was built in 1979.
I told
Because
you
they
this
didn't tax
after
it
my
until
kids were born.
1920.
You didn't listen to me, did you?
Because it was quite a feat moving the people out of the landmark house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that served as an elderly care facility, when it was functioning, because I was in there then. It's like, oh my God, how is that possible?
Amazing thing happens with amazing people. Yeah. Is anybody back on? Is Joanna back on yet?
Not
No.
just yet.
Um,
I think,
That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, it's good, it's very good.
see that, I have to take, we got, one of our old interns brought in some, blueberry pie. There's a big
Mm.
fat blueberry pie sitting in the break room that I've successfully avoided all day. I ran smack into these macaroons.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It was gonna happen eventually. It's better than me face down in
I
it.
was fine until I ate french fries and that was,
Now, the Landmark House was built in 1850,
Yeah.
and then they rolled it on in at the turn of the century.
oh,
And
that's what I was
stuck
gonna
it
say,
there.
hold on, let me finish the story, 1 minute. Woman got to go onto the ferry, she had a scotch in town and they put it out there. She ended up being out in that house for 3.5 months for having been a woman that had a drink.
Really?
Get on the boat. Yep,
Wow.
that's how strict they were with women and things. Can you imagine?
When was this?
Back in the
That was like the old, like back,
1800s.
when it was the old, like.
There
the-
was still
the old
some
vowel.
puritanical
it was-
Quaker
yes,
thing
It
going
was
on.
actually
yeah.
for the
They
house.
were
before.
losing power here, but there was
Yeah.
still some of that going on.
Yeah. Wow.
Can you imagine?
I mean, it's especially wild considering that for the time, Nantucket was incredibly progressive and
For when it's
For the-
Exactly.
for the
It's-
time.
But you had conflicting things happening.
And then
Okay,
there's a
we're
story, there was a story about when they had the fire. And that people from all over could hear the people screaming inside the building. So imagine being out in Quidnet and coming from the Quidnet farm and all that
Right.
into the, unbelievable.
And we got kicked out of Plymouth. I got 8 grandparents, not same families, that they're well aware of my family up there. Because it came from all 3 sides, 3 out of the 4 sides, and the Finney side got kicked out of Plymouth. Because we had just left over there of religious persecution. And we're in Mayflower grouping and we're all sitting up there. And then all these guys, some of the leaders, one of which was one of my grandparents, Winslow, decided that we're gonna tell everybody how to, what to wear, their religion and all this crap.
That
and the
doesn't
black
surprise me,
coat
Linda.
And the hats, and yes, and it's been going ever since then, but we said, well, we just left this, screw you. And my family came down and we're the ones that established Barnstable. Finney's Lane and and over in Hyannis is my 10th great grandfather. So we said, well, screw you, we're out of here. And then we went to Marshfield, we established Marshfield and East Bridgewater and Bristol, Connecticut and Bristol, Rhode Island and Tolan, Connecticut. Because we said, we're gone. Okay, gonna do what we want. And then one side split into the FINNEY, which was my side, and the other side went to PH Brothers.
Right.
We support the king. We do not support the king.
Okay.
We're on the do not support the king
King
side.
side.
No question there. We're just like, we're gonna do our own
So you
thing
don't,
and too
you don't
bad
have
for you.
Thanksgiving dinner together anymore.
Yeah, it's like, too bad for you.
Yeah.
But when they go to Columbus Day, it was like, Indigenous People Day. And I'm going, okay, I've got that, because I wouldn't be here now. Because my 11th great grandfather perished that first winter. His wife Susanna White. And her 2 sons, one of which was my grandfather. Rosalvin, survived that winter. More children actually survived than really adults. And they survived that winter when her husband died, and then she married Governor Winslow. And had like 11 more kids. And without that first winter, without the assistance from the Wampanoags, none of us would be
Ah,
here
dang it.
today.
Mhm.
So I sort of take that Columbus Day thing pretty seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Admitting
My
John,
children are all, what do you call it?
Recording in progress.
For your participation before, we're just waiting for Joanna to come back in.
and John, you're in here. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I had to switch from my phone to my computer. I've now got rid of the phone.
Good. Well, we appreciate it, John. We're sorry that we interrupted you where you were, but we appreciate your
No, it
dedication.
wasn't, I blew it, but fortunately, I was able to get in with the phone and get myself from where I was to here.
Well, you
Alright,
didn't, you
thank
didn't
you.
blow it.
Let's
You didn't
go.
blow it.
All right.
I'm not sure Joanna's in.
Not as of yet.
Well, we really need to
But we
keep
have a
going.
quorum. We,
We
Yeah,
do
we gotta
still
keep
have one.
going.
Yeah,
If we, do we want to, are we going top down or we want
Well,
to?
no, actually, I would like, what I'd like to do is discuss the fact that we, just remind everybody that the CRC funds were first established for the starting of new programs. And so as we look at this, I want us to look at the Sherburne Commons recommendation first. Outside of the legal services, because it does fit the criteria of everything that CRC was originally established for. Okay, putting that into the thing. I'd like to start a discussion on that, and then everybody can feed in, and if Joanna's not back, then we're gonna move on to the next one, but we will do this one. So, is there any discussion about this, questions, concerns? And I'll start with Veronica.
Yeah, I would highly recommend supporting the entire 17,160 on this. That's not a big ask. I know that we are gonna have to do cuts, but, as previously stated, it is new, innovative for our funding, and that's one of the things we're looking for, is for new programs. And, you know, if we have to do a cut, ultimately, I would say it's just a minor cut I would make off of that, because they're not asking for a lot. And, it basically is gonna cover some salaries. And I do believe that any program to have sustainability has to have someone dedicated and a salaried person somewhere along. You can run it with volunteers, but you need to have salaries behind there, so.
Okay. Linda?
I agree, and I'm like all there on it, because the idea of the memory cafe came from Council on Aging. We had the Pearson come down and
Right.
talk to us. We've been dealing with this, and your
My
mom
mom.
Mhm.
has
my mom.
driven this thing right from the very beginning.
And it's been a
we wanted to-
few years.
Jericho's not
in-
allowed to vote.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a few years in trying to get it to this
there.
point.
and we've been, she's done a great deal of work for it, and then, it's just trying to get it off the ground and where to do it. And I think going back to Sherburne Commons, where there's parking and the space was already designed for this, and good weather, it can be in the memory garden.
Well, it's not gonna be there. It's gonna be at the community, it's at the
At the
community
community
center.
center.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it'll be in town.
it'll be in town, it's centrally located at the moment, because
start.
they're the ones that are taking it on.
Are they doing it at
It's gonna be
At
at the,
Orange Street Building,
and then
I
it's
mean, Center Street.
administered largely by a community school in terms of the members who are doing.
Hi,
that.
Joanna.
Right.
That is such a, I've never,
Joanna, just for the record, we just started discussion, we decided we would go ahead without you, but we,
just started.
I just started, literally just started. And we, I put Sherburne Commons up first because part of the CRC is that we are supposed to look at new programs, and so we're gonna put them at the first of it, and Veronica has spoken on it, Linda is speaking on it now, and I'm gonna let her finish. And then, we'll go on to everybody else, okay?
The reason why I don't like it at the community center. Access is incredibly difficult. The
Well, that's-
handicap access is on the cobblestones, first off. They only have 2 parking spaces, because I was the chairman of the planning board when this all went down. The rooms are very small. They've got one larger room,
That's where it's gonna be.
but that's not big. Not
Well, I
big.
don't believe that holding it elsewhere is an option.
I don't understand that, though. I don't understand why it's not at Sherburne Commons, where the memory garden is, where that whole wing was supposed to be dedicated to it. Why is it not
I
there?
Okay, I
believe
think
it's
we-
in
can I
use for
just-
something else.
Can I make a statement? I think that right now. The people that's a question that we could ask them, but the people that have presented it put a lot of work into it, and this is a common ground with accessibility that
There's
they can prevent.
accessibility is minimal, I know.
Okay, but I'm just saying that they can provide it there, and so I think that we have to look at this.
I know
and we can
where
make
they're
recommendations.
proposing it, but I'm not happy with the fact that it's not where you have parking, where you have really good access, because that access is just in there on the side, on the cobblestones. In a relatively small space, Their handicap- is on the side of the building,
It's on Cobblestone Lane.
Oh, right.
it's on
right, right.
Academy Hill, whatever that
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
thing
yeah.
is, Cobble Court, whatever it is. So I'm not happy that it's there and not where it should be. But I don't mind giving them the money to get it going, because I
Right.
waited so long to get it going.
Right.
But I think this is to me, it's ridiculous. But I'm okay with giving them the money to see how it starts up.
Mhm.
But I don't think that's a good environment for them either, because of that room and because of all the other activities going on in that building that are not part of that particular age group or those needs.
I
Well, I
will-
I
think
think
if
this
the
is
time
dumb.
frame of what they're gonna provide it is, it's not gonna have a lot of young children in
Right,
it, and
it'll
the
be during the day.
availability of music.
And I can,
And that's gonna be a big part of it, is the music.
and I'm happy to reach out why they made that
Yeah.
decision, but
Just that building is not conducive to this.
when I discussed it with them, it was a question of like logistics. It would be significantly more feasible for them to hold it. Because the reason Sherburne Commons is participating in this because the 501c3
Right.
for
We
the
had to go
community
under
school.
somebody.
Hold on, I gotta explain what I'm saying, because the information's at the end of the sentence. So the reason why that Sherburne Commons is doing is because the 501c that is involved with the community schools mission is only for children-related activities. So in order to get the 501c
Three.
to donate the money, was the only person that would do that was Sherburne Commons after a signed MOU with the community school.
Yeah, I know, but there was another way around that. Okay, I know it has to be 501c3, it's C3, not just C3.
Yeah, so they
But-
need to have the right kind of organization in order to accept
Right.
that. The only one that would do that was Sherburne's, and the one that, the community school, which was the one who proposed this initially, would accept the use of the 501c to receive this money was Sherburne Commons. I think that's why it's structured the way it is.
Yeah, it just bothers me, because a lot of us go through the community foundation to use their 501c3. But that just irritates me, because it's not conducive to it, and that's not where it's supposed to be, but I'll go with it because it starts the program. So I think we need
Right,
to
that's what's
have
important.
that conversation.
We're gonna move
Why
on,
is it
because I-
not back there?
Gotcha.
Okay, Lynn, I'm gonna move on. Bert,
Is he up there?
yeah, he's there.
You're muted. Everybody's muted.
Hey,
in a
Bert.
different place.
I don't know. Oh, he's on his phone. Hey, oh, there you go.
Hi, Bert. Do you have any discussion about Sherburne Commons?
Do what?
Memory health, the memory care program for Alzheimer's with Sherburne Commons is discussing. Do you
Yeah.
need-
That's 17,150?
Yes, do you have any discussion or thoughts on it?
No, for some reason, my sound has gone down to nothing.
Okay. So you have nothing to, no input, correct?
No, I have nothing to say.
Okay, Joanna,
I'm all for it.
John Balash?
Just a minute.
Where do you agree?
I'm for it.
Okay, no comment?
Oh.
Okay, seems like there's no comment. My comment is I'm excited to see this happening. I know that it's been in the works for quite some time. And I think as we've spoken before, we do an awful lot for a whole bunch of our community, not much for the elderly in the community. So I'm really happy to see this program being started. So if we could get a tentative recommendation from somebody.
Well, I'll make that recommendation.
Linda is making the recommendation. Do we have a second?
Second,
Joanna seconded. Linda,
Aye.
Joanna,
I,
Bert,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Veronica? Aye. Fabulous. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next one. We should have a discussion about addiction solutions. It's a new one, but it's gonna, as we said, it's gonna go underneath. We're hoping it'll go under the cannabis. But if anything happens, we should have a discussion because they did come into this one.
Which one do you want to go to next?
Addiction solutions.
Even though our recommendation is that they apply and we have told them to go to the one, we cannot leave them out if in fact something goes wrong. Right?
Okay.
So Veronica, I'll start with you again on discussion.
Okay, if I'm just looking at their application right here, requesting $20,000 for what they are trying to do and what they need to do, I would support this $20,000. We have told them to rework it and come back with a more hefty, if I can say that,
You can.
application under the cannabis money. But I know that I just know historically what I've been told has been in the past, what they presented last Friday here was an incredible group of people doing good work that is absolutely needed. So I would support their application 100%.
And the application, just to make it clear, is an application of $20,000 for administrative.
Administrative
Services.
services, exactly.
Okay, just so
And then-
everybody knows. that's
And
what it's for.
their hope is to expand hours, and do more fundraising, not fundraising, yes, they're gonna do more fundraising, but more outreach, more outreach and education.
I agree entirely. And we,
Okay,
this is, when we met with them last year, it's the two of us met with them.
Right.
It was, this is so light years different than where we were last year. Where he didn't know how much he was weighing, he didn't do this and didn't do that, we couldn't get clear answers because they were still flying by the seat of their pants on this whole thing. Without a real strong board, and without a fundraising and all this other stuff. Now they have an organization, now they got a treasurer. Now they got some really, really good people involved with solidifying this, and this is the advice that we gave them last year. Get a good board, get a budget, get all this, get a become, a 501c3.
well, he's
that
been
you-
a 501.
Yeah, but really
for a long
active,
time, so-
right,
so
but
everybody
really
knows.
active
right.
under that 501c3.
Exactly.
And between last year and now, unbelievable. I would
Yeah.
have given him a two, which is
Yeah.
why I'm glad it can come in under the cannabis this time, because they have their act together.
Right.
So I've got a parentheses around it because of the cannabis part of it,
Mhm,
as far as our 840 total, so
mhm.
I'm in favor.
Okay, Joanna?
I'm all for it as well. So even if the cannabis thing fell apart, I would still vote to give them the 20,000.
Correct, I think that's what we're saying. If it
Right.
falls apart, we would like to know where we stand. Okay, John?
You're muted, John.
You're muted.
Aye.
Okay, Bert?
I agree that we should keep them there.
I would reiterate the fact that I think it is nice to see that, as Tim Leprey had said, that he's not a cowboy, that he needs everybody around them
Yes.
to make
Yeah.
it work. And so that was really nice to see. It was a very moving and touching presentation to us. I would also make that recommendation but also state that we would like to hold this tentative with hopes that they do come in under the cannabis grant and henceforth pull them out of this with their agreement to it, to going into the cannabis. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, so do we have a tentative recommendation?
Yep.
Can I get somebody to,
We already did that.
did we?
Yeah,
We made the vote?
I
Yeah.
don't, did,
No, we did
We
not
did it
make
for
the
the-
vote.
we
I
did it for the
asked everybody
previous-
if
I'll make
they
the
agreed.
motion then officially.
Thank you.
okay, I'll second.
Okay, Linda,
Aye.
Veronica, Joanna,
Aye.
Bert,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
thank you very much. Let's go to Small Friends.
No friends.
That is for $20,000 for their after-school summer program. Actually, for their summer program.
Summer
Summer
program, yeah,
program.
not school. We've been doing that school program for years.
And I'm gonna open this discussion again with Veronica. Veronica, you're gonna be the first, and then Linda always today.
Okay.
Oh gee, that's what we get for being in the room.
Yes, that's what you get for being
Exactly.
in the room.
And, here again, and it's not necessarily that money is money, but I also look that $20,000 for their extended summer program, which is so needed. I would approve this. They need, unfortunately, we can't give them what they need. They need more staff.
Yeah.
Because the need is there for more children to be in the program. We can't necessarily hire the staff for them, but the summer supporting the extended summer program is a very valuable thing for our community, so I would support the $20,000 they're asking.
Linda?
Yep. You see, the thing with Veronica going first is that she can make all the statements and I just go, yeah. She said.
No, you make comments with everyone, don't worry.
Something, but I don't have any comments on this one. I know how, my youngest son was at Small Friends. I know how vital this whole program is, and I wish we could give them more money.
Right.
For the summer program and the after-school program and more staff.
Right.
It's gonna take a long time to recover from what the pandemic did, especially in childcare.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as she stated, Nantucket has its own unique problems, but childcare in the country is
Is
suffering
suffering.
from lack of staff, et cetera, et cetera. So
But when you're
it's
paying,
just,
yeah, it's blown up in the
Yeah.
pandemic. When you're paying $350 a week, it almost doesn't mean, my daughter-in-law stopped working. She's teaching the 4 kids at home. Because if you had to put kids places, I mean, how do you afford to send your kids, especially if you get close together kids, to daycare
yeah,
or camp or whatever?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
and
It ends up
their
costing
rates,
you
Why,
their
why
rates
work?
are,
Yeah.
their rates are reasonable, yes. $350 a week for an infant. Sounds like a lot of money, but off island in places like Boston, New York, or whatever, these are reasonable prices. So that's but yes, you have to earn a lot to be able
To
to
do it.
do it.
It's also, this is the kind of municipal expense that allows many people to work. Which
Exactly.
then increases both the money that comes back to the town and allows for significant, like 20K here equates to like, I don't know how many, it's probably over $1 million worth of earned money for people who wouldn't be able to work because they'd be taking care of a child.
That's 20
So
families that are
Oh, yeah.
spending money.
Yeah,
Easily, like this,
exactly.
bang for your
It's
buck.
extremely
very little
A
investment.
lot of the kids there are single parent.
Right.
Like when my son went,
Right.
I'd say a majority of them were single parent.
Well, we
And
don't,
we
we don't know,
barely
we
earn
don't
that
know
much
that.
money.
'cause
We don't know
didn't
that
ask
now,
for
but
that
when
statistic. Yeah.
Evan went there, it was a lot of us single parents
Mhm.
and God, it wasn't that amount.
I do know that a good portion of their enrollment is town employees.
Yes, which is,
Yeah. You got to be on the waiting
Joanna?
list when the kid is born.
yeah.
Do you have any comment, Joanna?
Nope, I'm all for it.
Okay. Bert and John, or any comment?
Bert's off again.
John is.
That's
muted.
John. John's muted.
Aye,
He said,
Okay, it's not an aye. I was just asking if there was any talk or discussion. I would just like to say I would love to see a little bit how their effort is in seeking more staff right now. It seems to be that in ongoing, in talking to people, that is the ongoing. I'm glad that they raised the rates because I know that's been a problem. So raising the salaries is a great idea on their part and seeing that they really need to do that. Yeah. They did, they told us they were
Yeah.
raising salaries and I'm just saying that that's good because they've lost staff because of that.
They're still under their pre-pandemic staffing number. They're hiring to get back to that
They're
level.
way underneath,
Yeah.
they're way underneath it.
You know, she did say she is reaching out to the community colleges, et cetera, et cetera. It'd be interesting. Do they get any tie-in to the school system? Do they?
Here? Or like
Yeah,
the local
with
school?
it, do,
Mm-mm.
you know, even if it's, you know, a school to work type thing, training. Do they do that at all?
They do
There's-
school to work, because
Well, what
all my
happens-
kids did that, but not that kind of.
Well, they
Right,
actually have, and what's happened with some of their staff is that they've helped with the training and they've gone to the school.
Right.
Which is what they need. They actually need people within their program.
Right.
Certified.
So they're way under their first in their enrollment,
Right.
and in their staffing.
Right.
And it used to be, the program went till 5:15, which
Right,
was
and
huge.
now it's
And now it's
3:30?
It's 3:30 is the latest that they
Right,
see
which,
people.
which
It doesn't work with a lot of
it
employees.
doesn't,
Yeah.
it
No,
doesn't,
so I don't know how they're doing it because it actually isn't fulfilling the needs it needs to fulfill.
right,
Um,
right,
but it is fulfilling some needs.
right. So
Okay, so-
they should get the 20,000 because they need to do more.
Really also, a lot of people work in the summer. and this is
So do we
in
get
the
a,
summer.
I got a tentative motion from somebody, didn't I hear?
Full fund,
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Linda has made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Okay, Bert seconded. Okay, Veronica,
I,
Linda,
Aye.
Bert,
aye.
John,
Aye.
Joanna.
I,
Okay, next discussion up is Elder Services of Cape Cod. Is there any discussion on this one? Does anybody want to talk about this funding, what this program does?
Which one are we on now?
Elder Services Meals for Wheels.
Meals for Wheels.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion right now already on the table for no discussion, just to make the recommendation. Do I have a second?
second,
Second.
Yeah, okay, we got a second I'm gonna take the second from Joanna on that one. Linda,
Aye.
Joanna,
I,
John,
Aye.
Bert.
What, we're voting on which one now?
This is Elder Services of Cape Cod
for full
Okay.
funding.
for full funding, 21,600.
Aye.
Veronica?
I,
Okay. Now we're gonna start getting into the ones that are gonna have discussion.
What about MVY next?
MVY, here we go. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve without discussion, MVY. Is there any discussion on MVY? Just so everybody knows, I got bombarded with about 5 emails after their meeting about all the things that they forgot to discuss with us and things that they wanted to, so it's very interesting.
Yeah, they've come a long way. They're very.
they have, I agree
Yes.
with Linda. That was very good.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a first, do we have a second on that one?
Second,
Okay. Go through Veronica,
Oh, Joanna.
Linda,
Aye.
Joanna,
I,
Bert,
Aye.
John.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, guys. And now we're gonna go on to the Art Association discussion. Just so everybody knows, we only have the clocked in time for another 20 minutes. Okay,
What are we doing now?
Artists Association.
Art Association. Art Association is asking for 24,000. Last year, Art Association got asked for 23,200. Previous year before that in 2022 fiscal requests with 22,100. The only comment I have to make about the whole presentation was when I first went out and sat with Courtney. We made a asking about fundraising. I had asked her, how come other funds cannot be earmarked to this that you have? And she said they cannot be ever. This, I don't have any, everything's restricted. And then when I asked this year, that question was, we've never had it restricted. Which I found went against what I had been told, because for years, we'd said, and Linda, do you remember the discussion where I'd asked her, how come you can't get funding from anywhere else? And she said, because all those are restricted. And then when I asked this year, she said, no, we've never had them restricted.
Well, people give, the explanation the last several years we've gone out there, was that people give for certain funds.
Restricted funds. that's what they're
Yes,
called,
and
right?
there are a lot of times that they will get that for to fund this program, or fund the little gallery, or fund this or fund that. Because they ask for that.
right,
And my question was, why don't you ask the
Right.
same funding sources to fund that?
Yeah, I believe that that's where I would like to see them make an effort to have actually funded this separately as a private entity. I think that this
Yeah,
would
the
pull in more
standalone.
money for them. Jericho?
The other discussion around fundraising from the this year's presentation was the ratio of expenses on fundraising.
We did talk because it was
Right,
way,
we brought that up
And it was-
before. They spend half what they get on that artist thing,
And
that
Well, they-
thing under the tent and stuff. And I said, how much does that cost? We did a huge amount last
Part
year.
of that was commission, I believe the.
well, yeah, but
explanation-
that doesn't, commissions,
yeah.
it was incorrect, because if you read over the thing, the commissions had nothing to do with what cost them to run it.
Okay.
It is the money that they put out, that was a very high, it was a huge high number that went into, it was 40-something% of their
Yeah,
income.
it was
went
like
Yeah,
into-
and not
almost
as, and not as much back.
And
Yeah.
not, they didn't get as much back. They said it had to do with commissions, but if you actually look at the thing, the commissions are a separate entity from what the costs were.
right,
And I asked that question on that day. So my only concern is that I would like to know that they're actually, if they're pursuing it for so many other things,
Yeah.
I like it when I see programs that actually open up and say, okay, we're gonna solicit for everybody for these and not just wait for the town to fund them.
Yeah.
So
So one thing they did tell us is that they did receive $35,000 from a Creative Arts, Healing Through Creative Arts program for $35,000 from Julian Sears office.
after this,
Right,
after they put this application in,
right. So they have received that.
they have received that funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did apply for it and did receive the 35,000 that they said that they were waiting on for this. And not that this isn't a great program, I believe it's a phenomenal
Right.
program.
Yep.
Right, so,
And
just
it's
so that's
expanded.
out there. I just wanna, as we're looking at things, I wanna know that, that they're searching for funds other than here, and if they're getting them, that we look at that and say, well, they're getting funds for this too.
Right.
Can we give them the full amount? And in the letter that they get, that we want a regular update on their fundraising before we consider them again next year,
Well,
or?
that's part of every single one of everybody's,
Yeah,
they're
but
supposed to send in
specifically-
specifically, everybody has to send in whatever they make for grants, and whatever money comes in is supposed to come in on everybody's quarterly reports.
I just want to be a little bit more. Maybe we phrase it differently, a little bit more intense about. They've got to find other funding for this program.
So
Joanna has,
yes, so we're quickly gonna get to the place where we have to cut the people who are asking us money, right? So we've sort of strategically eliminated the lower hanging fruit.
Right.
Of all the organizations on this list, the Artist Association is the best equipped to raise money for this. Right? They have strong fundraising efforts and abilities. So because I really kind of looked ahead and figured out how much we would have to cut from some of the remaining recipients in order to get down to 650. Right? So I would recommend, if we want to fund this, that we at least reduce it to 20,000. They're not going to have a problem getting $4 more thousand.
I
Are we
would say,
650, 675?
650.
Okay. I saw 675 somewhere.
okay, so
Yeah.
Joanna, Joanna, are you making that recommendation?
Yes, I am. I'm recommending that we reduce them to 20,000.
and
Okay,
I,
do I have a second for that?
Bert
I-
did.
And is there any discussion? Okay, so I got a second, so I'm gonna go, you weren't asked for discussion?
No, I was just gonna say that by reducing that to 20,000, it basically sets a tone that we know that we're gonna have to make some deep cuts in other areas.
Yeah.
So it sets a tone that even though it's low hanging fruit, you made a good point that they do have the ability, they have strong fundraising, and they'll make up that 4,000 easily.
Because we
So with
brought it
that
up
being said,
every
we
year.
have, hold on the table right now has been a motion by Joanna to give Artists Association 20,000. It has been seconded by Bert. And I'm gonna go around, Veronica, Linda,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Joanna,
Aye.
Bert.
I,
Okay, we're going to 20,000 on the Artists Association. And
And-
hold on, because Jericho would like to make a comment.
So just with what we have allocated already, and including the $20,000 for addiction solution that may be covered by the cannabis grant, we are now at 100,514, which means we have 550 and change remaining. 549.90 something.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Okay, can I say something?
I would love you to say something, Joanna.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that we should look at this in a slightly different way, okay? And say that we have 5 organizations left. We have a Safe Place, we have ASAP/NAMI, we have Interfaith, we have Health Imperatives, and we have Fairwinds. Okay, so I want us to look at this as a group, because what I'm gonna propose is that we say, because the funding levels are all very similar. So here's my proposal, okay? A Safe Place and Interfaith, we reduce both of their requests by $8,000. Okay, and then ASAP
Hold on,
NAMI,
Can you hold on 1 minute, Joanna?
Yep.
So you're saying that, Safe Place
Yep,
would be reduced to 62,000.
correct.
And then you are saying, I'm sorry,
Interfaith.
Interfaith. Yep,
would be reduced to what?
87K?
yep, 87.
So
And then-
8,000.
Yep, and then I'm proposing.
Why wouldn't we level fund at the Interfaith Council? From last
Well,
year?
you'll hear it. Let me explain. So, because
Okay.
I'm trying to distribute the money fairly, because these are all very worthy causes. So then if we look at ASOP, NAMI, we look at
Yep.
health imperatives, and we look at Fair Winds, and we take all of each of those asks down by $40,000,
Oh, boy.
we're at 650.
I'm not willing to do that off the.
What percentage is that?
That's a big hit.
Because,
To
Yeah.
whom?
well, to each, like the
It's a
40,000.
big hit to health
what
imperatives
percentage? Do
And
you have
Fair
that?
Winds who have just increased
but-
all.
Health Imperatives apparently is getting another 100,000 from the state.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's for a whole,
That's a whole- Yeah, whole different, that's
Whole different
that's
program
restricted
that's going
funding.
So,
It's not within what they're asking us for, or nor does it cover.
Yeah,
What
because
they're
I
asking
looked
us
at that
for.
myself.
95 divided by 87. That is, no, it's gonna be
I'm not sure.
87 divided by
I'm not for
95.
that.
That'd be
I'm okay with
a
the 8,000.
8.5% reduction in the Interfaith Council's request.
So
62 divided by 70,
I'm back to the food.
12,
shelter, safety
11,
thing.
11% reduction for NAMI. And then 190 divided by 150. 150 divided by 190. A 21% reduction in the request for health imperatives.
Yeah. I'm not willing to do that.
110 divided by 150. And a 27% reduction in ASOP NAMI's request.
I might ask them to town for more money again.
151
They seem to
divided
wanna
by
throw money around.
191. And then a 21% reduction for Fairwinds. Did I miss IFC and health imperatives would have been 150 over 190, which is the same thing,
Right.
about 20% reduction. So
Here's the
So-
other.
So can I say one more thing, and then I'm happy to relinquish?
Hey, Joanna, can I go back and just ask a question again? I'm sorry. Did
Yes.
you exclude addiction solution?
Yes, I excluded it. I did.
You excluded it.
And we
Okay.
haven't
I-
excluded the drug part of the other three either.
That's-
I did. No, I did. I calculated the math based on everything that we had done.
Thank you very much.
So, Jericho, thank you for those percentages. Here's what I'm also going to say. In 2022, A Safe Place asked for 70, we gave them 70. In 2022, so they would be facing a reduction of $8,000. Interfaith last year asked for 80, so they would still be getting an increase over last year. Health Imperatives at last year asked for 120. So even with the 40 reduction, they're getting more than they asked for last year. The people on this list who end up taking the biggest hit is Fairwinds, because we fully funded them last year.
No, because Interfaith Council is asking for 95. They got 80 last year and you're planning on taking 40 away from them.
No, I only took $8,000 away from them.
80 down to 87.
Yeah,
Yep, so which is more than they got last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless
So
we
I
wanna
was
level
just-
fund. Unless we
Mhm.
want to level fund. Unless we want to level fund those 5 entities.
Well, we can't.
We can't.
Aren't those 5 entities larger than the total amount?
No,
that we
she's
have?
talking about level funding.
From last
Oh,
year.
from last year, okay.
Yeah. What happens if we level fund them from last year? Where does that leave us?
Well, no, because
Should-
Fairwinds would get full funding.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, Fairwinds would have to take the hit, but if
No,
outside
Fairwinds
of
would take the
Fairwinds.
1,000, Fairwinds would not take a hit at all. They got one
Well,
time.
I'm saying they take a hit this year.
No, because they got $191,477.
I know, but they would take a hit.
So
from-
she's saying, she's saying take 40
level
away
fund
from
the
them.
rest of it. Does that work?
If we what?
If we
Level
cut the
fund
40
last
out of
year.
health, who is it? Fairwinds, cut the 40 out of Fairwinds. They're gonna get less than last year. But then that means that we can almost level fund the other 4. That's
May
my
I-
point.
Just a quick point of clarification so I can do some.
They all
addition and
stay in,
subtraction?
but what are we giving it?
We want to level fund. The question here is, what would the sum be for level funding Safe Place,
Yep, NAMI,
NAMI, IFC,
yep,
Fairwinds?
no, they get less
So Fairwinds would
Fairwinds-
be
Fairwinds would-
190 flat.
Or maybe.
or less.
Okay, so we'll see what the difference is for that. So level funding, Safe Place, NAMI,
It-
interface.
Yep,
It comes to 120, we're still short 25 grand.
well, we can find a place to take that out because that's a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here.
I
And
mean,
the
if
one
we
that
take-
takes the hit would be Fairwinds.
If we're 25 over, level funding those 5 agencies, if we level fund -5, that's the 25 difference, but I am a little uncomfortable making the distinction or making the decision on the amount we award based on not the merits of the proposals.
I was about to say, because I'm gonna
You
be
do that
honest
all
with
the time.
everybody.
I know,
of course,
but, like,
I have an issue with.
I
proposals
definitely
and
see what
customers
Joanne is
fitting in.
saying on this, like, if we can level fund from last year. If ideally we can level fund as much as we want, then that is a pretty significant outlay. And I think that that is good, I mean, I think the level funding, Joanna's proposal of the slightly tinkering around and we end up at or above most of their last year's requests. The one we're missing from that, the big hit would be just on Fairwinds, with essentially, if we.
No, it would also, so I just calculated that wrong. I forgot ASAP NAMI, because last year we gave them 100. So we'd
Yeah.
actually end up having a little bit more money. So the way that I actually originally proposed it is slightly more fair.
Okay,
So can she just
know what?
run down her list? of
Okay, so
what
let me
was-
run through this again. I'm gonna run through this again because I took really good notes. So let's start with the Safe Place.
Yeah,
They're asking for 70. Last year, we gave them 70. I'm proposing we reduce it by 8,000 to 62.
I'm not there on that one.
Okay,
Well,
that's
let's-
fine. I'm just gonna list them all out. So ASAP NAMI is asking for 150.
Yep,
Last year, we gave them 100. I'm saying we give them 110.
okay,
Okay, then we go to Interfaith. This year they asked for 95. Last year we gave them 80. I'm saying we reduce them to 87.
what are you giving elder services? Let the.
And
then-
They're
Okay,
full funded.
okay. Health.
So then we have
imperatives,
health imperatives. This year they've asked for 190. Last year we gave them 120. I am proposing giving them 150.
Okay,
And then lastly, Fairwinds. They asked for 191. Last year we gave them 191, and this year I'm saying we have to reduce them by 40
To
so
what?
151.
to 151.
Joanna, may I,
can I, wait,
do you want to confirm the numbers?
Yeah.
okay,
that's
you
what I
can
wanna
confirm
do.
the numbers, but Jericho, I'm gonna say for a minute that you have to stay out of the debate.
Copy.
Thank you.
The numbers,
Which one?
the numbers as proposed, and Joanna checked me on this. 62 Safe Place, 110 NAMI,
Yeah.
87 IFC, 150 Health Imperatives, 151 Fairwinds.
Yes,
Okay,
Okay.
we
I
haven't
don't
got to add
necessarily
them.
agree with that.
Well, now let's add them, just add them for the sake of argument.
and then we
Okay.
have, and then we've already agreed to reduce Artist Association by 4, so that's 20. And then we have the others we agreed to today, which theoretically, all this should come to 650. Right, and I was really trying to, the reasoning was, yes, merit-based, but I was also really trying to look at what they asked for, what we gave them this year, and what is a relatively fair allocation of a relationship between those two numbers and what we ultimately have to cut everybody.
Yeah, but I think also some of it has to be based on merit.
Well, hold on a second, let's make sure that the numbers work.
I get
I
that.
agree, I agree, Dorothy, but, I'll add one more thing. I also think some of it has to be based on reach. right? And of all the organizations on this page, I think that these are the ones that all have the largest reach.
The biggest bang for the buck.
Yep,
I'm not,
and
I'm not
I'm getting
disagreeing with some of that,
560.
but some of them
Hold on.
are
Gotcha.
much better at producing.
well, I mean, I think Fairwinds did a really good job this
Not
year.
that She's saying it all.
I'm not, and
She's saying.
I'm not disagreeing with that
This
at
is
all.
the funding.
And I feel badly about taking money away from them, but but what I'm trying to illustrate is my point in that I feel the other organizations deserve more money. So that's why I'm willing to take some away from Fairwinds, even though I think that on this list of organizations, they have the most impact in the community.
Who does?
Fairwinds.
I don't get that. I don't get that total at all.
So 62, 110, 87, 150, 151. I'm
No,
getting,
let's start at the top and go down each one of them.
so for the five,
62,000,
110.
110, 2160, 600, add them all.
Yeah, that's what I
I'm-
want to do too.
I'm not getting that number. So add 62,
where's my cheat sheet? 62 plus 110 plus.
plus 21,600, plus 4,600, plus 87,000,
plus, 26.
where are you?
I'm doing it different.
Why don't we just add the figures as they go down the page?
Okay.
It's the only way to do it.
You read them out. Hold on.
Okay, it's 62,000,
Oops. 63000 plus
110,
110 plus.
21,600,
Hold on. Stupid calculator. Start again. 62.
62,000, 110, 21,600, 21,600, 4,600, 87,
600.
87,000, 150,000, 17,154. Got it?
Hmm.
151,000. 20,000. 20,000. 17,160. You have that?
Yeah.
Am I leaving out our Dixon solution?
Yes.
All right, we left out Habitat. Okay, what do you get now?
660, 514.
So we're over.
10K.
Let's say, should we add it up one more time?
I think so.
Yeah, because that's why
Okay.
I'm saying it didn't work out. 62,000
Okay, hold up. Let's start fresh here.
plus,
Everybody, just so we know, we're getting down to the minutes where our
Yeah.
meeting is gonna
I got
stop
it.
being recorded.
I got it.
No, it may
we should
kick us
do-
off. I'm not 100%
Yeah,
sure.
I'm just letting everybody know.
What we should
because
do
it's a
is just-
word.
Is take the change out. Take the 154 off MVY and take the 160 off of Sherburne. This is just-
Absolutely. I
it's
agree.
stupid. All right, so it's 62,000. 110,000.
Well, before we do that, everybody has to agree on that because we've already made. an
I know, but
agreement
we're
on
just trying to
something
see if it works.
else.
Get a
Okay.
number.
It works.
21,600.
Were we dropping the 600?
No,
Yeah.
not those. We're just dropping the change. 4,600. 87,000,
Nope.
100.
Wait. 87, 1, 2, 3.
150,000. 17,000. 151,000,
1, 2, 3.
20,000. 20,000. 17,000. What do you get now?
660, 200.
What?
$660,200.
So 10,000.
So will you listen to me for a minute?
Yes.
Thanks. First and foremost, everybody, I appreciate this. I would actually say to you, even though I've been a very big advocate, I would like to see the 10,000, us level fund ASAP at 100,000. And that bringing us down would give us $4,000 more, which in retrospect, I would like us to look at giving it to somewhere like Safe Place, whose numbers are getting ridiculous and their program.
Got cut 40% from the feds.
Hmm?
Got cut 40% from the
Because you
feds.
guys, I mean, there's also, we have merit in saying percentages, but we also have to look at the merit of the programs that are
Yep.
being run. And I feel like we're giving money to some programs based not only on their merit, there are programs here like, in all honesty, I understand the Interfaith Council is great. I wouldn't necessarily fund them even at 87,000. I think there are other programs through merit could use that extra 7,000, and I would actually level fund them at 80,000.
See,
So what I'm trying to say is a safe place, I believe's programs and what they presented to us and the numbers they've shown us, that it would be beneficial for us to take that 10,000 from ASAP right off the bat, put it in, and that clearing that 10,000 gives us about 4,000 to play with.
no, it
30
doesn't.
something,
It's
maybe
600,
3,000.
660,200. So we have to come up with 10,200 to get back to 650.
Okay,
that's
so
all we
give the
have.
10 back to ASAP with that.
We'll take the 10 out of ASAP, which
That's
I'm
what I'm
all in
saying.
agree with, but then we got 200. here.
Take it out. What?
So
Hold on, I haven't finished.
100, just so I can get the numbers,
I
100,
would make a proposal of $100,000 to NAMI, taking the 10,000 out,
Okay,
okay? And that would give us, that's what we needed is
and
10,000,
plus 200 somewhere here.
okay. So the other 200,
Elder Services of Cape Cod, take $200 off.
No,
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 no way.
that's the $600 there, I think is down to the meal.
yeah,
Okay, fair
In
enough.
actuality, what I would do is I would take the 87,000, I would turn it to 80,000. I would put the 200, take the 200 of that, and I would take that additional funds there and look at either a Safe Place, Fairwinds and NAMI, Health Imperatives and divide it between all of them.
I'm happy if ASAP stays at 100,000.
I'm happy with the ASAP at 100,000, but I don't want to take money away from the food pantry. I feel like,
Joanna, the food pantry is doing very well if you look at their numbers. And so I feel like these other organizations are really,
But we're-
you know,
The problem is the rental part of it, I'm intimately involved with all this, the rental part of it,
can I
they're
just
out of money by
check something,
March.
Jennifer? Can
Yeah,
you
that's the
check-
problem.
Could you?
well,
just
the
check?
other, can I just point out that this is for FY 24 and like, we're in a recession.
Uh-huh.
327.
Right, my
What do you-
question
what do you
is,
say?
do you know if we're gonna be booted out at 2:30,
I won't know until 3:30.
until 3:30?
There's nothing else on the thing scheduled, but I've
But it
never,
says only 2 hours.
I've only
okay.
used this one for
It
that.
says that, guys, it says that we only have 2 hours, and I think this discussion should
Bigger.
be carried on, but I'm gonna move it to Monday, because if our 2 hours is cut out,
Then
then we're totally
leave it.
lost, and I think it's a great discussion. So if everybody's okay with that, I'd like to make a motion to carry this on to Monday.
You can't continue stuff.
We can continue the discussion, we're in deliberations, yes, we can, that's what we
It's a
are.
brand new, obviously, it's a brand new posting. It's a brand new.
We have it
everything.
under deliberation.
Yeah,
so
it's the
we can
same.
continue the
Fine.
discussion, yes, right. We're gonna just hold this over to Monday.
Okay.
And that way I think everybody can go back, take a look at it, we can come back and we can start right off the bat on this discussion.
Well, first
Fair
off,
enough.
can we agree on the 100?
No,
Jericho? Jericho?
Yes, Jericho, it's Bert's asking you a question.
Jericho?
Yes, can you hear me, Bert?
Yeah. Could you do me a big favor and print out that evaluation sheet and the rules and stick them in an envelope tonight to see if I get them by Monday?
You want me to try and send him out?
Why don't you
I
email
can't,
it to them?
I can't get anything to print off my computer.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow.
I'll see what I can do.
My computer, I can't even get email in.
Bert, if you send me your address, I'll go out to FedEx right now with it for you.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
we got a fax number someplace.
okay. If everybody, if I can, I'm sorry to cut off, and Joanna, I wasn't trying to be rude, I just don't want us to lose this.
Like
I think it's a great discussion.
Okay,
And so if I could get a motion for, to
Adjourn?
adjourn. And can I make a
Yeah,
motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second,
Okay, Linda,
aye.
Veronica, Bert,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Joanna?
aye,
Okay, thanks, everybody. I look forward to the conversation on Monday.
me too. Bye, bye Dorothy. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Good.
Dorothy, I'm sending it to you now.
Okay, thanks, Bert.
Thank you.
All right, I'm ending meeting. See you all Monday.